All right, sweet. I'll go ahead and get started. Cool. Yeah. Thank you guys all for coming out. Excited to give a little introduction about machine learning. And we're going to cover what machine learning is, why kids should learn machine learning, what's so valuable about it, and ways that we can help them learn about machine learning and stand out, particularly over the summer. So just real quick, a quick breakdown of who I am. My name is Kai Middlebrook. I am the Director of Machine Learning at Breakout Mentors. In addition to this role, I'm a Senior Data and Machine Learning Engineer at Referral Exchange, which is a real estate technology company that uses AI to make better real estate decisions. I am the founder of Music AI, which is a music intelligence startup that uses AI to help discover music and generate music. And I am also the co-creator of Heart Bio Portal, which is the largest human cardiovascular disease genetics data platform in the world. Okay, cool. So let's dive right in. What is machine learning? So in essence, the simplest way to describe machine learning is it's a branch of artificial intelligence, AI, that enables computers to learn and make predictions based on patterns in data without being explicitly programmed. So the thing we really want to focus on here is the without being explicitly programmed component. In traditional programming, as we can see on the left, right, the regular programming, a coder has to define a relationship between the inputs, the X values, and the outputs, the Y values. And the X and Y here, you can consider it like the data, right? So that's traditional programming. You have to explicitly define a relationship between your data to achieve a result. Now, in machine learning, in the machine learning paradigm, what's so powerful about it is the coder uses machine learning systems, processes, algorithms within the domain of machine learning to discover a relationship between the inputs and the outputs, and then make predictions. So this is a very powerful new type of paradigm, and we're going to see a little bit more about why, how it's become so powerful and relevant. So real life applications of machine learning, right? So the idea that we can not have to explicitly define a relationship, we can use data and computers to learn these patterns from the data and define and find a relationship out of it, right? So what that has led to is these real life applications of machine learning. One of the biggest ones that has been in the news lately is ChatGPT. That's an example of like a text generation system and summarization system that's powered by machine learning processes. You have things like self-driving cars, robotic control. So, Boston Dynamics, there's a little GIF in this slide showing a robot doing a backflip. That's leveraging systems in machine learning. And then there's other less flashy, but also very relevant and important things like scam detection or detecting potentially a cancerous tumor in your lung, things like that. So using it in various different domains, machine learning has become really relevant in many real life applications. So why is it so relevant? Well, again, as we kind of already covered, it allows us to uncover patterns and discover relationships in data and then extract value from that. And in the technology age, we're getting more and more data. So the amount of data is growing exponentially. And humans have no way of really making sense of it at the same rate. And it's too complex, right? So machine learning allows us to extract valuable insights from this vast amount of information. And as a result, it's been revolutionizing all these different industries like healthcare, finance, and transportation, right? Just to name a few. And then the other reason as a result of this that it's becoming so relevant is that it's impacting our everyday life. And as a result, it's getting integrated into all these products across all these different industries. And a downstream effect of that is the growing demand for jobs. The growing demand for skill sets related to machine learning. So companies are really looking for people who can fill roles in like machine learning. And according to CNBC, the demand for those roles is growing rapidly. So we know a little bit about what machine learning is and some real world applications. We know that it's very relevant and it's only going to continue to become relevant. So why aren't kids learning machine learning, right? Why aren't high school and middle school students learning this very valuable topic? Well, there's really two main reasons. The first one that I would describe is courses. The courses are either too simple, in what this means is they're too basic or toyish, or too complex. So they're too theoretical. And this leaves the young learners bored and frustrated in both cases. And that is definitely something you do not want, especially in these young learners who have so many things going on in their lives and attention is sparse, right? And then the other reason is machine learning requires access to lots of data and computing power. As a result, this creates a lot of barriers and it's very expensive and a pain to get started if you don't really know what you're doing. And most traditional courses do not help at all with this aspect. So that's kind of, why kids aren't learning machine learning. Now, why should kids learn machine learning, right? A few key things aside from the obvious that I would want to highlight is the skill set that you acquire when you become fluent in machine learning knowledge and data science knowledge is you develop a set of critical thinking and problem solving skills. So it's a way of approaching problems, thinking through problems, and leveraging data to make smarter critical decisions, right? You're enhancing your data analysis and decision-making skills. This is a very important skill set to have, again, in a technology era. And another thing that I think is underemphasized is for why kids should learn it is machine learning, as we saw, is impacting all these different industries. And what that leads to is a lot of opportunities for creativity and innovation in whatever field a student is interested in. And, machine learning is one of those unique fields that allows the student to express their creativity and interest in basically any field that they have a passion for. And then there's the obvious advantage of students who learn machine learning early on have advantages in future academic and career pursuits. And just, to back this up with a little bit of evidence for why kids should learn, according to the World Economic Forum, as you can see in the top 10 list of fastest growing jobs with predictions through 2027, AI and machine learning specialist is number one. But if you look at the rest of that top 10 list, many of them are also related to machine learning or data science. And there's a lot of crossover there. So there's clear value for that alone. So now that we know what machine learning is, how it's prevalent across a lot of industries, and why kids should learn it, how can they go about learning it? Well, that's what we at Breakout Mentors have tried to develop. We've developed a machine learning deep dive program that helps students learn machine learning over the summer when students have a little bit more free time. And we really focus on teaching the students the foundations and developing a portfolio of projects that help them stand out. So let's dive a little bit into how our curriculum, our deep dive program is formatted. So we format our deep dive program basically into two main segments and then a third additional, optional segment depending on the student's interests. So the first thing is the foundations. In the foundations component, the student is working one-on-one with their mentor, and they work with a mentor who's from a top machine learning school like UC Berkeley, Stanford, UCSD, etc. They're going to be working through the foundations of machine learning. So they're going to learn all the practical base level knowledge that they need, but they're doing all of this in a very interactive format, and they're using data sets that are real world, practical data sets. They're not just made up toy data sets and all that stuff. So we really focus on being very interactive and students leveraging real world data and also being able to apply it to problems that they care about. So after they learn the foundations, they have a good set of base knowledge. They're able to move on to more complex projects and algorithms. And that's when we move into their first what we call a capstone project. The capstone projects are really exciting, both for the mentor and student. And these are basically a project that the student works with their mentor to decide on a type of problem that they want to solve. They find a data set together, and then they build a machine learning solution from scratch and package it into a machine learning app that solves the problem that they're interested in. So like, for example, in the past, students have done things like last year, some students did projects around COVID-19. So like sentiment analysis of social media posts related to COVID-19. Others have done things about like rainforest species detection using like audio samples from the rainforest, and many more. And we'll go into a little bit more of those projects in a second. So after the capstone project, which takes, between 7 to 15 hours, depending on the complexity, we encourage students to do long-term learning. And this is completely optional, but highly encouraged. Many of our students in the past continue on with this long-term learning. And in the long-term learning process, they're just going to be diving deeper into more and more complex algorithms and building more complex projects. And this allows them to really build out a portfolio that demonstrates their interests, passions, and showcases their increasing level of knowledge over time. And in terms of time commitment, each session is 90 minutes long. In terms of prerequisites for students, all you need is to have typically at least 3 months of coding knowledge in a programming language like Python, or any other one is generally suitable. And then basic algebra knowledge. So if you know what the equation of a line is, like y equals mx plus b, then you're going to do fine. And the other, 2 prerequisites are pretty easy. You just need a computer with access to Wi-Fi and a desire to learn. And then in terms of costs for the deep dive, the first 15 hours are $2,000, and then an additional $150 per 90-minute session. So moving into our success stories. So previous students over the summer have received awards in state and international data science competitions and science fairs. Many of the students have been able to land internship offers thanks to their portfolio of projects and the knowledge that they acquired. And then several students have used projects that they built through the summer on their college apps, and it's helped them earn acceptance into like top universities like NYU, UC Berkeley, and other schools. And then for different student backgrounds, the curriculum is tailored to their experience level. So we've had students come in with zero machine learning knowledge, who by the end of the program are able to build machine learning apps from scratch. And then we've had other students who come in, they already have some machine learning background, or maybe are very advanced coders, and they come in, and by the end of the summer, they're able to do independent research on more advanced machine learning topics. So really, we're able to adjust the curriculum to the students' level of expertise. So here are some like project examples of what students have worked on in the past. I mentioned a few of them. I'll go into a few more. So another project example is house price prediction. So like predicting the price of a house based on data on that market. Pneumonia detection from chest x-rays. That was a really interesting project a student did last year as a research project and ended up submitting that to a science fair. Another one is handwritten digit recognition. So this is like applicable to recognizing digits on handwritten checks. And banks use this process actually to be able to deposit your checks via a picture on your phone. And then some other more creative ones too are like a text summarizer that generates text like quiz questions based on a blob of text that you submit to it. And then another one was photo to painting generator. So basically you put in a photo and you put in a painting, and it would combine those two styles together. So, you know, what sets our summer program apart from other courses? There's a few things, mainly three that I want to highlight, and it's our, well, I would say four things. One, we really focus on individualized attention and one-on-one mentoring, which ensures each student gets a very personalized learning experience based on, you know, their background, their interests, how they're progressing, their speed, all that good stuff. The other one, which is I think very unique to us, is we try to teach the whole game. So what does that mean? I use an example of, if you were to try to teach somebody basketball, a lot of courses will hand a student the rule book of basketball. And personally, I don't think that's the most effective or most fun way to learn, in this case, basketball. What we do in this basketball analogy is we take the student to a basketball game, and then we play basketball with them. So what teaching the whole game means in this context is we're jumping right into solving problems with machine learning on day one. Now, again, at the early stages, you might have more assistance, more help, and gradually you're working your way up to where you're able to do everything more or less from scratch. Another thing that we really focus on is again, learning by doing. So that's very much applied-based learning, working on projects that are interesting to you, using data sets that you know are in domains you're passionate about, and this helps a lot with students' knowledge retention, motivation, and creativity. And that's something that's very unique to our program. And then the last one I'll emphasize is how we focus on removing barriers to machine learning. So earlier I mentioned how machine learning requires a lot of compute and data, and this is expensive. Well, we teach students how to leverage the cutting edge tools, powerful computers, and data for free, so that they can, you know, leverage what is out there to be able to build machine learning applications essentially for free. And yeah, so those are the three main things. And we also really focus on a lot of programs. They will stress the importance maybe of learning a new algorithm we go a step beyond that. So we want to stress the importance of building a project from start to finish. So they'll learn the algorithm, but then we teach our students how to package the algorithm into an interactive application that can be shared and used by others. And that is a very unique feature of our program. So if this program sounds at all interesting to you, there are a few ways that you can reach out. So if you already are convinced you want to sign up, you can go to this deep dive link, which I will share in the chat at bit.ly/2023 deep dive. You can also, here, let me put that in the chat. You can also, if you would like to learn a little bit more, you can reach out to me and schedule a call or email me, which I will also share those two things here. So you can schedule a call and we can talk about your specific situation and, you know, your students fit. Would it make sense for them to dive into machine learning, or should they maybe, there be more value to them learning a little bit more computer science, you know, or if you just have general questions about what you would hope to achieve over the summer in a machine learning program, absolutely, please reach out to me. I'm happy to jump on a phone call. And things like that. But yeah, and the other thing I should mention is that our current program for machine learning is, the space is limited. We're at about 70% capacity, and it is a first come first served basis. So obviously, I'll encourage you, if you are interested, to reach out or sign up sooner rather than later. Because you'll have more flexibility to choose, you know, the scheduling options that work for you. So yeah, to conclude, let's wrap up and kind of summarize everything we covered. We learned what machine learning is, right? It enables computers to learn and make predictions based on patterns and data without being explicitly programmed. That's the key, without being explicitly programmed. We learned that machine learning is influencing, you know, every industry. It's becoming the future, and there's a lot of opportunities for students to really dive in and take advantage of this. So unfortunately, most machine learning courses are a little bit too simple or too complex for middle and high school students, but there are huge benefits for kids to learn machine learning. And our summer machine learning deep dive program is one of those opportunities that we hope to provide to help students get into this really exciting field. So yeah, that's a quick little wrap up. I want to again thank everybody so much for coming out. I know I threw out a bunch of information very quickly, so I'll open up, you know, the chat and also the mics for any questions you guys may have for the next couple minutes. Feel free to, you know, ping me with questions or just, you know, raise your hand. Yeah, so one question was, do we offer group sessions for after school clubs? Yeah, we do consider group sessions. So I think the best thing to do would be to schedule a call with me, and we can kind of get a better idea about, you know, your specific situation. But yes, we can work with groups. We have in the past, and generally it's been pretty fruitful for everybody. For sure. You're welcome. Hello, Mohammed. Yes, thank you for coming out. Um, I see that you recently enrolled in a PhD. Um, yeah, I appreciate it. It's great that you came all the way out from Pakistan. It's great to see new faces, but very cool. Awesome. Great. Well, if there's no other questions, I think I will let everybody go. But again, I would just want to reiterate, thank you guys all so much for coming out. Really appreciated it. And hopefully today was fruitful for everybody.